Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Sue Morter, Morter Institute for Bioenergetics. I have a question for you. Are you searching? Chances are there's a yes somewhere in there, searching in this aspect of your life, maybe searching for a new job, maybe you're searching on a deeper level. What is it about me that keeps bumping in to the obstacles? Searching for the deeper meaning of life. Maybe there's this profound, big searching. Maybe you're a seeker, really steeped in the spiritual path, looking for what is really true and how to implement it. And so the invitation I have for you today is to stop. Stop searching and start finding. There is a vibrational radio station that happens when we dial into searching, seeking, asking, wanting, that is a different vibrational frequency than having and knowing and being and celebrating. They're very different sensations. And I want you to understand this piece, that the whole of life is right here. It's right here. It is so close, it is behind your eyes. And so when we're seeking out there, we never see it because it's the one that's looking. Find the seeker, and the seeker shall find what he seeks. Yeah, that's an interesting little statement that caught my attention about 25 years ago or so. And I never let go of it when I first saw it, and I wondered what it meant. And then a few years later, I had a tremendous awakening, coincidentally in meditation, boom. And I know that there is no such thing as coincidence. It was by divine design that it occurred in my life, and it was exactly perfect for me at the time. And I was innocently not in a deep, steeped seeking state, and so I was able to drop into celebration rather easily. Friends of mine that I was just meeting at the time had been in a deep seeking vibrational frequency for a long period of time. And as I started having these awakenings and these openings through meditation, I assumed that everyone who was meditating for long periods of time was having those kinds of experiences. And as I began to share them, I recognized that this was a relatively rare occurrence that was happening in my life. And so I really took it to heart. I turned my life into a living laboratory to figure out what it was that I was doing or that had happened in those moments that started these openings so that I could reproduce it for myself and then hopefully perhaps share it with other people, because my life was definitely focused on service. I was a doctor in a clinic treating patients all day long. That's what mattered most to me. I was helping everyone heal. And so what I want to share with you is that the different vibrational radio station that we have to visit more if we are a seeker is the one that would be happening in you if you had found what it was that you were seeking. Because if you had found what it was that you were seeking, your entire physiology would shift. Your orientation would shift. Where you live inside your body would shift. Your consciousness would shift. The way that you look out into the world would shift. Everything would take on a different character. And as I was trying to learn to reproduce the states of enlightenment that I had achieved, I found that I had to go through the gateway of embodiment to do so. Meaning, I had to accept and own and sit down and breathe with the celebration that had already occurred in my life. If I kicked into the set of circuitry of seeking, I got further away from the experience of enlightenment that I had had. And when I would stop trying, things would light up again. And so I put two and two together and recognized that it's two different sets of circuitry. The one that is the observing mind, the one that opens up to new realms without an anticipation, without an efforting or a trying, is the one that is the authentic self. The one that is seeking and driving and pushing and trying, studying this and taking it into that and overdoing it in that and never letting go, is the one who's constantly seeking. And so the invitation is we have to bridge the worlds between seeking and having. We have to bridge the worlds between enlightenment and embodiment at the same time. What is missing in that whole equation is the true you. When you are seeking, you are not tapped into the essential self. You are not coming from the one who already knows. And so, because we developed in this world with our senses directed externally, when it came time to seek a new way of living or to have a new understanding of life or to try to come into contact with our true life purpose or our soulful expression, we naturally plugged into our circuits that held the divine out there, that held some aspect of what is possible as something outside of ourselves. When in reality, the highest, greatest truth is that it's all in here. Now, when someone first said to me, you have all of the answers inside of you, and I looked and I didn't see anything, I thought, great, I'm duped. Now I have two problems. I have the question I went seeking, and now I have the awareness that I don't have the answers where we're supposed to supposedly have them. And so I had to untangle all of that, because I assure you that as you learn to draw your attention inward, as you begin to what is termed in the Eastern culture pratyahara. This pratyahara is turning your attention, withdrawing the senses into the inner world, the inner sanctum of your being. And as we do, we start to dial into a more subtle frequency that exists there all the time. Now, many people will turn inward to have a reprieve or to relax or to rejuvenate or to meditate. And all of that is absolutely a benefit of doing so. And there's also another benefit. You'll find the missing link, the real you, the authentic you, because this is how it works. The soul resides deep within your core, deep in the uncharted territory where the still waters run so very deeply. There is very little commotion happening deep in your core. And that soulful self speaks to the body by giving it nudges and cramps and pulling and knots in your stomach and lumps in your throats and shrills up your spine and all kinds of other languagings that express. The soul is an energy being that is trying to set itself free, and our mind is clamping down on that situation and busy writing stories about people's intentions and how hard life is and how you should have done things differently and the regrets that it's constantly counting, etc. It's very busy. And if we can learn to still the mind and get it to pay attention to what's going on in here, a whole new world opens up. As the soulful self speaks to the body, and the body is trying to get the attention of the mind, and the mind is too busy writing stories to listen. And so what we have to do is learn to turn this inside out. We have to turn our spiritual quest inside out and not just sit and observe the happenings within, but to learn how to take those observed happenings and learn to get the attention of the nervous system so that we can start to build some circuitry to sustain soulful living, to sustain our awareness of this deep truth of who we are that occasionally we tap into during meditation. But we all know that life moves a little too fast to be sitting in meditation all the time and expect to, in a rubber meets the road kind of way, be effective and be productive and be lucrative in the world and engaging and making a difference and being of service. We have to find additional ways to do so, but not from an isolated separate self, but rather from the streaming soulful energy that resides at your deep core as the real you. The real you is actually sitting there waiting to come out. And the you that you think you are is holding it hostage with the best of intentions, trying to do everything that it can, seeking to find the answers. It's time to start having instead of trying. It's time to start finding instead of constantly looking. Drop in to the core of your being and start breathing in your belly and learn the practices of the energy codes. Learn the practices that are in the book, The Energy Codes, a 7-step system to activate your spirit, enliven it, and heal your body and live your best life. And the Energy Codes coursework, which will allow me to be in the room with you and teach you specifically how to do practices and how to see life from this soul-based perspective. Your essential self is ready to rise, or you wouldn't be here right now. And it's my great joy to share with you a codified roadmap of how to do exactly that. Stop seeking and start finding and have the life that you're intended to be living. Visit us at www.drsuemorter.com and see how we can help you now.